The anime begins in a village that has been ravaged by 3 goblin brothers, so our protagonist Asahi steps in to protect the village, but he is weak as a pipsqueak. But he has a brother complex sister who has top of the charts powers, so let me take you back in time for a bit. So basically, Asahi died tragically as he saved a child from an accident. His soul then entered into a different space from where he can see that the girl he saved is fine. But then the screen begins to glow and sucked Asahi inside and threw him away in another world. Seeing the surroundings and the town, Asahi got his dream came true that he was summoned to a fantasy world, and here he goes to pawn shop to exchange his phone to have basic equipment. He's an otaku of fantasy world anime, so he was completely immersed in his fantasy world when he went to register in the guild, and Tanya was overjoyed to see a new meet starting as an adventurer. She registered Asahi and assigned him to hunt down killer rabbits for his first job, but his luck played a pretty nice game with him as he encountered a wyvern right away. So Asahi first hides from it and opens up status thinking he would have gotten some boost or overpowered skill like it happens usually in anime. But instead he was of level 1 with just a good for nothing skill of throwing rock, even so he gives it a try and then made a fool of himself. There as he was counting his last seconds of life as he remembers his big sister, and suddenly his sister Maya drops out of the sky just like him. She took out that wyvern like a paper toy. And the overpowered Asahi wanted in this world has gone to Maya, his big sister who has some serious brother complex. After that she tells him that after he got that accident he fell into coma, but out of the blue he kept muttering something about another world. So Maya started pounding her head against the wall in an attempt to reunite with him in this world. So, back in the present, Maya didn't spare those goblins and reduced them to ashes, and those villagers came forward thinking that Asahi defeated those goblins and saved them, but Maya doesn't care. And at the guild he got promoted directly to the ogre class and got the badge of ogre class as a proof, but Tanya informs him that if someone tries to falsify their ranks, they get a brutal punishment, so he begged Maya to keep her power hidden from others, and he would do anything for her, but then he thought to check her status. But she misinterpreted it and let Asahi grab her chest. Then she understood about status and Asahi saw that her level of power is so high that it couldn't even fit in the chart. There as Maya began to get clingy again, a crowd gathered on the street to cheer on an A-rank adventurer party who are leaving to defeat the Demon King, and the leader of their party is Siegfried, who's at the dragon class, a level above Asahi. Then as time passed and the crowd disappeared, and Maya began to become clingy again. Then the other day Asahi somehow managed to kill a slime as he was set to level up by working hard. But on the other side Siegfried and his party got thrashed like a pebble when they fought against a demon general named Kilmaria. She's a battle junkie. Then in the morning Asahi left to get a quest at the guild to become a dependent man, and Maya took this chance to sniff out Asahi's smell from his bed like a true pervert. Then at the guild, Tanya gave out some really tough killing jobs, so he tricked Tanya by making it up that he wanted to experience some low-level quest to remember good old days. And Tanya also fell for it as she gave him a mushroom gathering job up in the Claudio forest, but then Asahi's bad luck strikes yet again as a bear gets there for some food. And Asahi fall down from a slope and ends up between some nice melons. By the softness he mistook that his big sister had come to his rescue, but when he looked up, he saw that she was a someone else, but rather than being angry, she found it quite pleasing that Asahi called her big sis, but then they were surrounded by those bear. So she threw Asahi up in the sky and took all of them out instantly. The guardian bear Kaiser shows up. Seeing Kilmaria, he recognizes her. She's a battle junkie who even hunts down other demons to test her power. Kaiser intends to kill her in one shot, but she deflects his attack and even saves Asahi, so even the strongest guardian is killed by her hand. Then she asked Asahi about an adventurer named Asahi. She heard that Asahi became the first guy to rise up in the guild ranking in just one day, so she wanted to spar with him. There Asahi thought of slipping away, but he dropped his badge and she saw it. She was set to have their little fight, but Asahi wanted to live to see another day. But then she got blocked by a rock spell casted by Maya. She saw it as an unpleasant interruption and attacked her. Both of them used enormous power, yet no one was defeated. She realized that Asahi got his fame because of Maya and she got all fired up. Then their cat fight begins and they started destroying everything in their way. But still Maya overpowers her in their fight. Then she was about to kill her, but Asahi stopped her. Because even though she was a demon, she still has a good heart because she saved Asahi despite the fact that he was a stranger, and Maya cannot go against Asahi, so they left her alive. Then, as the adventure progressed, Asahi was leveling up again, but this time against a slightly stronger foe, a goblin. but his attacks were always useless. Then the entire horde comes in and Maya jumps in to save her beloved brother as she can't keep her hand away from Asahi. Then in the city Asahi saw that is leveled up a bit to 10th level, so Maya gives him an idea where she could lock a wyvern for him to level up. But it would be more like bullying a weak, so he didn't want that, so instead he tells her to just keep relying on her, and that gives an emotional damage to Asahi. So he was still going on and on about leveling up, and Maya got bored of it as she wanted to have some fun, but leveling up opened a teleport skill for Asahi which he used to get away from Maya. But it made her even more thirsty to get her hands on Asahi, and seeing her he wanted to use teleport again, but only one use and his mana was depleted. Then after getting away from her, Asahi gets to the guild thinking of joining a party, and there Tanya tells him to have a balanced team like Siegfried, the guy who left to defeat the Demon King. In his party he had a mage, a tank for defense, an archer for rear support, and himself for a close combat fight. But thinking about it outside, Asahi saw some goons picking on a drunk man, so he thought of distracting them so the drunk guy could escape, but instead he took out those three like it was child's play. Then Asahi recognized that it was Siegfried, the famous adventurer. He got into this condition because when they arrived in the Demon Kingdom with the intention of defeating the Demon King, they came across a powerful demon who defeated his entire party all by herself, and looking at this defeat, he was ashamed to call himself a strong adventurer. But Asahi tried to show him the bright side of being an adventurer, like having a good time with the party then falling in love with a party member. So Siegfried showed him the real world by telling him his personal experience of staying with his party members. Mimosas, their mage, spends their entire hard-earned money on bar. Shulian, their archer, just keeps lecturing, and the tank Gordon, who's even more timid than a little girl that even gets embarrassed to take off his helmet. So this was the real world, so they just disbanded their party. But Asahi was still looking on the bright side, and at the guild, Tane immediately sent Asahi away on a wyvern killing job, without giving him a chance to call for Maya. But their Kill Maria saves the day again, and she still prefers to hear big sis from Asahi. She returned to give Asahi his badge, and their Maya comes in again. Kill Maria wanted a rematch after seeing her, but Maya ignored her as if she didn't exist, so she pretended to kidnap Asahi, and it was a successful but failed attempt. But she was still resilient to have their little duel, but their Asahi gets into danger instead, so to save him both made a pretty nice team to save him. So Kill Maria had her fun for today, so she left for now. Then after some time, Asahi returns to the guild for another job. And this time Tanya correctly guesses that he ran out of money to pay his rent, so she suggests him to buy a new house instead, but the only problem is that the house is haunted. But the plus point is that if he manages to exorcise the ghost, Asahi can get it for free, so he accepted this job and informed Maya as she was getting ready. She knew Asahi was afraid of ghosts. So they left right away in the night, and Maya kept teasing him on the way that he gets scared of ghosts. Then they arrived at that house, and just as Asahi touched the door he got his life force sucked out by a spirit. So Maya gave it a try and ghost got burned out by her overwhelming power. Then getting inside the house, it was well made up of furniture, and the ghost continued to annoy Asahi by throwing objects at him, and Maya used up all of the healing potion on such minor injuries. Maya then yelled at the ghost, and the ghost attacked her, but a loud voice from her vaporized his attack. Ghost sensed Maya had some serious powers packed inside her, so he took over her body to obtain her powers. It was now a disaster because that ghost could do anything possible with Maya's power. But then Kill Maria shows up there finding Asahi and Maya. Seeing her, he explained the situation, and Kill Maria was ready to knock some sense into Maya. But their face of inside would destroy the house, so Asahi stopped her midway and he falls on top of her. But then Maya got angry as they were fooling around, and to settle it Kill Maria found a way. That is to have an arm wrestling match, but she was defeated by her again. Then she pinned Asahi down and he became angry because he was worried about his sister. Hearing this, Maya kicked out that ghost from her body just because Asahi called her out, but actually she was just playing all this time, because she wasn't under any control at all. Then they acquired a new home for themselves in this world. Then, after getting a new home, Asahi was asked to test out a new dungeon that had been discovered. He was a ogre class. So Tanya wanted him to see if it was safe for those lower level adventurers to get to the dungeon, so he thought of going in alone, but Maya again followed him there. Then inside, Asahi tried to use his RPG experience to find and avoid the trap, but instead he activated it himself, but Maya gets over it by herself, and then some undead obstacles appear. So Maya was about to use her power when Asahi stopped her, because if she uses it here, they could be buried beneath this dungeon. So after defeating them, they get to the center of the dungeon. But it was all empty without a boss, and looking at its full structure, it was all unstable, so Asahi came to the conclusion that it could fall apart at any time. So it's not going to be safe for anyone. Then on his way back Maya got clingy again, and this time Asahi gets mad at her. He makes a reason that he's hungry to avoid hurting her feelings. And seeing this, Maya left to hunt some prey for dinner, and Asahi got surrounded by wolves. So he ran like a champ for his life to get to the town, and there he met a pretty girl who wanted to know some direction because she was new around the town, so she wanted Asahi show her around. But he sensed her power, so he put up his guard, so to relax him she showed it that it's Kill Maria. She just disguised herself as a human to roam around human town. Asahi trusted her and took her out for a stroll. Then in the evening, seeing the sunset, Asahi was worried about earlier that got mad at Maya, so Kill Maria tried to take him on the demon's side, but he refuses to do so because he has a kind sisters that he cares about. Then they both get to the home, and Kill Maria thought of playing a prank on Maya by pretending to be Asahi's girlfriend, but Maya knew it right away that it was Kill Maria. Then they enjoyed their meal like a happy little family. And the next day Asahi was once again leveling up by killing a wolf, but there comes the alpha of the pack, and Maya once again saved Asahi, but this time he got a scratch on his arm, so Maya thought of licking his wound, but Asahi didn't want it to happen, so he ran away. Then at the city he run into a girl and picks her up like a gentleman. She saw Asahi's wound and healed him with like magic, but she was in a hurry, so she left. Then Maya finally caught Asahi to lick his wound, but it was already gone. Then at the guild Tanya tells them about a treasure that appeared in a dungeon. So many adventurers had gone there, but they returned quickly seeing there were high-level monster. But there was one party that didn't make it back, so Asahi got the gesture and got there to help that girl from earlier. Her name is Sophie, and she saw that Asahi saved her before passing out, but Maya was the one who took out all of the monsters. Then they left them at a safe place. Then as Sophie get conscious again, she finally thought she had met her hero. Her mother had told her about the hero that will appear in the future and told her to serve her with all of her heart, and she took it that Asahi is the hero she was longing to serve. Then, at a restaurant, while Asahi and Maya were enjoying their meal, Sophie appears, relying solely on her staff to find her hero. She requests Asahi to take her into his party, but Maya was the problem. He thought that Maya wouldn't let another girl join the party, but the situation turned polar opposite as she herself welcomed her, seeing how she was praising Asahi as a hero. But then her previous party came in to blame their defeat on Sophie so that they could get money out of her because she appeared all soft and shy, but instead she trashed all of them and relied on Asahi, so they were about to get serious, taking Asahi out, and Maya used a smoke trick to beat those idiots and take away Asahi, but then Sophie was reluctant to join him. So he agreed to give it a try. For this time Maya gets away to have a duel with Kill Maria, and seeing that Asahi had a healer in his party, Tanya just dumped to be killing quest on him. Asahi didn't want to let them know he's a weakling, so he accepted it and started kicking out those with stones, but Sophie didn't know why can't he just kill them. But then suddenly she left to get something and brought back a really nice present for Asahi. That idiot provoked the queen so that Asahi could kill, but the tides turned against them. So Asahi considered giving it his all to save Sophie, but a large boulder suddenly appeared from nowhere and killed all of those bees. Sophie thought it was all Asahi's doing, so she left to submit the prof to the guild about their job being done. But there came Kill Maria and Maya, and this boulder was the result of their funny fight. 3 of them just left. But at the guild Sophie just kept waiting for Asahi even in the night. Then at morning Asahi apologized that he neglected her resolve and accepted her in his party. But that concludes our video. Stay tuned for more recaps, and to get the latest updates, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, and don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it.